First of all, just looking ahead to the weekend, how big a game is it, and how close do you think you are to finally getting your safety ball?
We're close, obviously. The last couple of games have been pleasing. I think 3 clean sheets, 3 2-0 wins out of the last 4 games has helped us. I think we need another point, obviously, to get over the line, but we're fully aware that the job isn't done yet, and we've still got a bit of work to do, and the sooner we pick up the points that are required, then the easier it is for everybody in terms of the end of the season and the run-in. But we've put ourselves in this position in the bottom 6, and like I say, the last couple of results have been pleasing, and if we can pick up another one Saturday, it'll help definitely.
Is that what you and the management team are saying to the players? Let's get this over the line as soon as possible.
Yeah, definitely. I think the quicker you pick up the wins and get away from that bottom of the league, the playoff spot, the better for everybody, and it takes away a wee bit of pressure. Obviously, the longer it goes, the more pressure's heaped on you, so the sooner we can get the job done, the better, definitely.
Since the manager's not here, I'm going to ask you about his future. You see it so many times, you've been with him a long time, he gets linked away very often. How does he deal with that personally, and how do you as a management staff deal with it when he does get linked with other moves?
How he deals with it, I'm not sure. He plays his cards close to his chest, so in terms of from my point of view, working with him over the years, you're spot on. There has been that speculation, and it doesn't go away, and there's a reason for that, because he does his job so well, and he's done his job so well in the past years of being a manager. So from our point of view, nothing changes. Like you say, our focus is solely on Saturday. Speculation comes and it goes, and we just need to knuckle down to what we're doing, and for us that is preparing a team for Saturday and hopefully picking up 3 points.
How big has Derek been to everything that's been building here at Kilmarnock?
Well, huge obviously. I think there's frustrations this year that we are in the bottom 6, and I think our start to the season, our first quarter was tough, and we've probably not been able to recover for that in terms of getting enough points to make the top 6, but there's no getting away from the frustration from all of us that would rather be in amongst that and looking at a place to fight for that European spot as teams are in the top 6, as opposed to the pressures of being in the bottom 6 and fighting to stay away from that playoff spot and bottom of the league. So for that point of view, is huge, is ambitious, and is wholly frustrated with the way the season's went, as we all are, but in terms of his worth to the club, is in my opinion, and I'm obviously biased, is huge.
No surprise that he's in the conversation when it comes to the Hearts job?
No, I'm certainly not surprised. I mean, like I say, it is speculation. I just read what's printed for yourselves and take what comes from that. But no, absolutely no surprise whatsoever. I think the job he done up in Aberdeen and clubs similar stature, I'd say Aberdeen and Hearts, it doesn't surprise me that he's linked to it again, not at all.
Yeah. How do you view these final few games? Obviously, that we bit about on Dundee. It's kind of, at that stage, it gets close to last chance saloon for them.
Yeah, I think everybody's in the same boat, really. I think when we went into the bottom 6, the threat of relegation and that playoff spot is there for the 6 teams. I think Motherwell obviously are okay with their win. Hearts at the win at the weekend are okay. So it's probably the 4 L's at the minute that potentially can still be dragged into the relegation fight. So I think we're quite an experienced staff. A couple of seasons ago we went through it as well, in terms of being in the bottom 6 and fighting to stay in the league. So from our point of view, we've been through that and had that, so hopefully that helps us going into the last 3 games. But certainly the 2 previous alleviate a bit pressure, but there's still that chance that you can get pulled in, and I know at the risk of repeating myself, the quicker we get that point, the better for us.
Danny's talked there about the games against Dundee, like the goals are plenty. I mean, what sort of Dundee are you expecting, given it they're like 10th and they're desperate for the points? Yeah,
I think Danny's spot on. The games we've had in the last 2 seasons have been wholly entertaining. They've been late goals, drama, and I don't think that'll change. I think in terms of the need for points, we're both in need of them. So and in any given day that any team can beat each other in this league, I think that's been proven. So we know it'll be a tough game. Dundee are a good side, they've got goals at the top end of the pitch, so we're aware of that threat, and we have to just make sure we're prepared as best as we can to deal with that threat, and hopefully carry a threat ourselves at the top end of the pitch and take care of business.
Well, what would you say, having worked with Derek at Aberdeen here at Kilmarnock, if you were to pin down his best attributes as a manager, what would you say?
Put him on the spot there. I think it's for all we see really, his results that he's picked up, his win percentage will be big, I'm sure on that. The way he built Aberdeen up from where they were at the time he went in, to have them consistently competing at the top level of the league and making sure they were in Europe and cup finals and semi-finals year in, year out. I think that success rate speaks for itself for him really.
And you've stepped up to be his assistant once Tony left. How much have you enjoyed working alongside Derek in that even closer way?
I think I've been fortunate that we've worked closely previously as well with Doc. Obviously the three of us have worked closely. Archie's came in, Craig Clark's came in, so as a staff we're pretty tight. I mean, I know I've got the title of assistant, but there's nothing between us really. We've all got our roles. Myself, Archie and Clarkie, we're pretty close in terms of how we work, and I think the manager likes it that way. He knows we're all working and we're all aiming to get the same success for the club, and we're all as frustrated as the manager is that we've not been slightly better this season, unfortunately.
And you said that Derek plays his cards close to his chest, but given that you've been with him at Aberdeen and you've been with him here, a potential move for him could potentially be a move for you as well. So I imagine at some point you guys will be having a little bit of discussion if he does have news to share.
Well, I'm sure he will, and whether that entails me, any of the other staff or not, I don't know. I honestly don't know on that, and we'd cross that bridge when it came to it. But I think I've been in this position before, and that's the manager's business, and it's up to him how he does that business. So we'll cross that bridge if it ever has to be crossed.
If it did have to be crossed, what would the loss be to Kilmarnock, do you think, to have to replace him?
I think in football people move on, and it's constantly changing and evolving, so I'd like to think that the club are always in a position to be ready if anything was to happen. I think managers get sacked, managers move on to better things, so there's always a evolution in the game, and I'm sure the club will be prepared if they have to be for that eventuality. I'm sure they'll be in a position to bring someone else in and move on, and that's constant. Every club moves on if they need to, but we'll just see how that develops, obviously.
That'll do for speculation, guys. Just move on, please.
Squad news. Kyle McGuinness is back training Friday, which is a bonus. We weren't sure we would have got Kyle back. Joe Wright and Brad Lyons are close. They're involved back training, so Saturday could be a possibility, probably 50-50 with they two. So in terms of injuries, it's a bit more positive than it has been.
And just one on Bobby Wales, Paul, we know how good a player he's been coming through the youth product and showing himself in the first team this season. Again, another player like Danny Armstrong out of contract, linked with Swansea a few days ago. Any latest on where he could be going, or what it's like trying to kind of help guide him through this stage of a career?
No certain, but I think Bobby's probably earned the opportunity to move on. He's done excellent, both him and Davey as young players. I think they've started 50% of the games this season. Certainly in terms of involvement, I've been a high percentage of involvement in all games. So it's no surprise that Bobby's generated that interest. Likewise, I'm sure if Davey continues to do as well as he's doing, he'll generate interest. It's just given that young Scottish talent seem to be snapped up when they're doing well, and that's credit to them, how well they've done to allow them that opportunity.